Hello, welcome to my podcast, Empowered to Thrive. I'm so glad you joined me today. I'm your host, Evan Powell. I'm an intuitive mentor, and I help people pleasers to find happiness, embrace courage, and experience peace of mind. But say you're not a people pleaser, and you're desperate for change and not sure how to make it happen, then I'm here to help. In this space, you're going to find motivation to live a life full of joy and resilience. We'll talk all things inner wellness. And because I'm a mom, we'll throw in some knock-knock jokes. Just kidding. We'll talk mom hacks and parenting sometimes. Whether it's your first time here or you listen week after week, I am wanting you to know, as I'm always wanting you to know, that your life is so significant. You are so valuable. And I, for one, am happy that you are alive. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. And would you do me a favor? Would you go ahead and subscribe to my podcast? Give me a good rating and write a written review. Any of those three things would help me so very much, and I would appreciate it. Enjoy the episode. It's great to be with you, and I am really excited that my husband, Evan, is on the show with me today. So you're going to get to hear us just have conversation about our life together, what it's been like to do life together, and how it's been for us as we came both to the relationship with our own baggage, unresolved trauma, and the normal challenges that you have when you start to immerse yourself and do life together with any other person. It's always going to have its set of challenges. But the best part is what you do with what is handed to you. So we're all handed difficulties and challenges in life, and we're given an opportunity to make them whatever we will. And so for Evan and I, our 9 years of marriage and the time before that we knew each other and we were dating, it wasn't all easy. But we are here still together because we've been working through deeper issues within ourselves, separate from each other and together. And I feel like that is the only reason we're still together. And if you've followed me for any length of time, you've heard me share how we've had our set of challenges, and it has created a lot of difficulties in our life together and our life as a family. But with that, we've been working through it. And so I wanted to basically give you a window in and send hope to you that if you find yourself in the middle of a difficult relationship, and the relationship can be of any kind, that there's hope that it can get better, and it doesn't always have to be perfect, which what is perfect anyways? It doesn't always have to be easy in order for it to be beautiful. In fact, I think something is more beautiful when through the mess, you work together. You actually rebuild within yourself, and you come out differently than you were because of that process. So I'm going to let you just enjoy our back and forth conversation. And here we go. Oh, I want to say too, that as I thought about having a conversation with Evan, I realized that even though he and I don't always see eye to eye, he actually thinks very different than me, but I am able to bring myself, my full self to the table. I'm able to have conversation with him and not agree. And he is one of the first people that I can remember being someone I could relate that way with, that I didn't need to agree with him in order to have conversation and discussion, that I didn't need to be changed, that my thinking didn't need to be changed in order to have a conversation with him. And that is the beauty of of a relationship, that you can come to the table with differences, with different ways of thinking, different opinions, and yet still do life together. You don't have to agree with everybody in order to be friends, in order to do life together. In fact, I think it creates a lot more beauty and it's more interesting when you do think differently, when you have different viewpoints and different opinions, and then you can discuss those. So, Evan, how has it been living life with me?
I think, like, I was listening to your intro, and as with any relationship, that brings with it every, difficulties and challenges. Um, I think every relationship brings with it extraordinary gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And um, I think the gift of being married to you has been extraordinary for me. I love being married to you. And I feel like you help me be the person that I was made to be. You challenge me, you push me, um, you enjoy the moments. Um, it's been a great journey. It's been a great relationship so far, and it's been also, like you mentioned, there's lots of difficulties in it too, as we've grown together, we've changed together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're the same people we were almost 10 years ago,
Mm.
which is great. And obviously, when a person changes, that's also um, it creates tension in you. There's always tension when there's change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like, I have a lot of value for marriage, but I think I value the people in marriage even more than I value the actual relationship. Because you can stay together a long time with somebody and it'd be miserable.
Mm.
And so I think as you and I have both grown in becoming more fully who we were made to be, I think it's been good and bad, but if you want to use those extreme terms, difficult, and really, there's been major highs and major lows, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Okay, so you said I challenge you and push you. So what do you mean by that?
So I feel like you have very high expectation of me. You expect me to be the best that I can be. You expect me to be fully connected, fully alive.
Mm.
Um, there's times when the expectation has been what it feels like, to be someone who I can't be too. Like,
Mm-hmm. Unreasonable?
yeah, some unreasonable expectations. Like, I don't know what you're thinking. I remind you of that often. Um, I can't really know what you need. Um, I'm always reminding you that I can't save you from your self-sabotaging things,
Mm-hmm.
But in the good places, I think you've called me to be whole, to address the brokenness in my own life, to address where I'm not really loving fully, and I'm like holding back, and I'm in my, I'm compartmentalizing, or I'm like not able to even be present in a lot of situations. Um, and I think if I didn't have you there reminding me and calling me to more, then it'd be easy to just stay in those places. Yeah, I think I'm just check out for a while here and I'm out. And, um, people get used to those habits, right? I have a lot of habits I get used to. And you're like, wait a minute, is that really the best you can be?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think as Evan's talking, what I'm hearing him say is he's basically putting words to how I think even towards myself. So as I go through my life, I guess you would say I'm pushing myself towards more. I'm challenging myself because I see the potential for being whole, for living fully alive. And I know that's what I want. And so what he's saying, I realize it's a reflection of how I even think towards myself. But at least present day, for myself, we'll take it home. because I don't think I relate as well to you, Evan, sometimes when I'm asking things of you. I think I can be harsh, I can be overbearing, critical, still working out of my conditioned patterns. But towards myself, I've grown to be more compassionate. So as I expect more of myself, or as I challenge myself, or if you want to use the word push myself, it's with a lot of compassion. It wasn't always that way. And as I've learned and grown in being more compassionate towards myself, I'm trying to translate that into my other relationships, especially the one with you, because that's my most challenging. Mm-hmm. I'm sure growing up, my most challenging relationships was at home as well, but now my life is with you, and my most challenging relationships are still within my home. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I think I want to bring up to each of you listening that it's been a messy process. Mm-hmm. So the more I've become aware of myself, the more conscious I've become to the way that I cope with difficult, traumatic situations, to see the way that I was conditioned to live and to think and to feel. The more I've become aware of that, the more I've recognized how I relate with Evan. So I get triggered very frequently because of some of our own past history. And so sometimes that means I shut down, or I start storming around the house, angrily doing things, hurried and angry and frustrated. And I mean, Evan can speak into this too, but there are ways that I have expected things of him in our relationship, and ways that I've related to him that have been very abrasive and messy. And I've got to say that Evan is someone who is super gentle in his nature and has allowed me to be myself even when I'm messy. And he has embraced me through that process. And now what I love about it is he calls me to something more, to something higher. Like today, or even yesterday, I interrupted him when he was having a conversation with our son. And I didn't even realize I was interrupting him. He brought that up. Well, now I can see that and say, oh, like that's something I don't want to do. So become more aware of myself. What am I doing here? Because the more aware we are, the more mindful we are, then we'll recognize how we come across to other people and how we are actually being in that situation. And then today there was something that came up, and he was able to relay back to me how I was interacting with him. We're taking a quick pause from today's episode because I want to tell you about a program that I've designed with you in mind. Discover, Heal, and Transform is going to offer you a safe place for self-discovery and inner healing. You get to go through the program at your own pace. There are both video lessons and downloadable PDFs. You're going to have access, if you become a member, to collective sessions that I'll be leading weekly for all of the members. You'll be given a safe place so that you can connect with other people on a similar path. So here's what I want to tell you. If you're looking for transformation and you want to find inner peace and satisfaction within your life, then my program and or my membership is going to be a great fit for you. The connection and support you're going to find is invaluable. The healing, surreal. And the transformation, profound. I am not who I once was, and I'm going to show you how you too can radically change yourself. Now, my membership is normally $400 a month. That gets you into weekly collective sessions. It offers you a discount on any one-on-one sessions that you schedule, and it grants you access to my entire program. But right now, I am offering the membership at just $250 a month. Yeah, you heard it. That's $150 off each month. Enroll today. Take advantage of this awesome discount and go to the show notes, or just go ahead and go to changeradically.com/memberships and sign yourself up. I'm looking forward to seeing you there, and I am so excited to help you change yourself radically. Because that is what I want to know. Evan, how do you experience me? Because I might think he's experiencing me one way, but he might be experiencing me another way. And what matters in our relationship is me knowing how does he experience me? And him knowing how I experience him, because the more aware we are of how other people are feeling in the relationship we have together, that's helpful to know. That's insightful to know, not to become what they need us to be. We always need to work towards becoming our authentic self, who we innately are as children, who we innately were before someone told us we should be a different thing, or we shouldn't be this, or we should do this, or we shouldn't do that. Before other people's values and mindsets were put on us, who were we innately? Who are you innately? But not to become somebody I'm not authentically, but to be able to actually do better, if I could use those words, in this relationship with Evan, or in any relationship. So when Evan shared with me today basically how he was experiencing me, it helped me to know that, oh yeah, I see that now. Okay. So it takes a bit of humility to recognize, to let somebody speak and to hear them. And this is where, okay, let's bring it back to Evan and I just talking about how we've learned to do conversation together. And we're not sitting here, you guys know me well enough. I don't sit here to be an expert on anything. I tell you my experience. I tell you how it's been for me, so you can take whatever you want from what I've learned and my experiences and apply them as you want to your own life. So Ev, how has it been for you as we've learned to relate and converse in a powerful way, like where I'm empowering you, you're empowering me? What are some of the dynamics, and what are some of the ways that, what's important in having a conversation so that one party knows they're heard and the other party feels heard as well?
I definitely feel like it's been a learning process, in that I don't feel like I had great examples of people fighting well in my life. Having a discussion, working through an issue, a lot of times those things happen behind closed doors, where I wasn't able to watch or observe and kind of navigate through it with somebody, where I was like, oh yeah, that's how I want to have a discussion with my wife, or so I feel like, yeah, this has been a bit of a learning curve for me as I've jumped into this. And I haven't done it well a lot, and I've learned through those processes. But yeah, I guess to fight or to argue with somebody who's on your side is a lot different than arguing with somebody who's against you, trying to chip you up, trying to take advantage or manipulate. All right.
Yes.
So, I think you and I come to the table actually seeing that we both kind of share mostly common goals, and we both want the best for each other, because we love each other. And so we might disagree on perspective or process or implementation, but we agree that we both want what's good for each other. So I don't know, I just feel like that's been important, an important basis to come at disagreements from. I think they've been really messy at times for us, in that they've been passionate, they've been loud,
oh yeah,
they've been chaotic. A lot of times, I don't feel understood. A lot of times I come to an argument not even expecting to be understood. Not expecting that me having a discussion with somebody and talking it through is actually going to make a difference. So even as I show up, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to do this, but it's probably not going to make a difference,
Right.
And then I come to the end, and it does make a difference sometimes, or pretty much all the time. And I'm like, wow, surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
um,
So why do you come into the conversation with that mindset?
oh, well, I feel like the house that I grew up in the relationships it kind of formed my thinking on that, pretty much resulted in me having discussions and not walking away empowered
Mm.
or feeling understood.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of carry that a lot of times now. Whereas, yeah, we might talk something through, but a lot of times I'm not expecting it to be like the arguments I had a lot of times weren't emotional and they weren't passionate and they weren't things like that. They were literally just words
Mm-hmm.
where we exchange words and we try to come to an understanding. And it was very mental.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times you understand actually my heart, you understand like a deeper place in me.
Mm-hmm.
And verbally we don't agree,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I don't know, me being a very, I guess, logical, cerebral kind of guy is
Sure.
a wonder. It's always surprising
Sure.
to me,
Yeah. Right. There's more to just hearing. There's more to it than just hearing someone's words.
Yeah.
So hearing their heart.
Yeah.
Is super important.
Like an understanding sometimes is not being able to say back to the person what you just heard. Like that was an understanding to me.
Right.
As
Yeah.
My thoughts on this were forming. Like, okay, so I can repeat back to you what you just said, so we understand each other. And actually, we didn't. I just really, you know what I mean?
No, right.
I heard your words,
right?
And I can repeat them back, regurgitate them to you. But yeah, catching somebody's heart is a lot of times a lot deeper than that, and it takes a different kind of listening. I think it takes a lot more than a mental listening. Actually, I don't know all of what it takes, but
you're right. At least it takes more than just logically hearing somebody.
Yeah, definitely.
There's more to it.
I definitely don't feel like I do this well very, very, very often or all the time.
Right. So.
But yes, I definitely am in it. I'm doing it. I'm experiencing it. So
yeah.
I think I'm just offering an open window into what life is like for me.
Yeah.
And if it's helpful, take it,
Right. And I think it is helpful for people in any instance for anyone to hear how somebody else goes through life. It gives a fresh perspective, maybe a new way of looking at something. Any of that is really helpful. And I think it's key here to go through life with an open heart and an open mind. And maybe I feel more importantly, the open heart, because if I feel like the way I'm doing something is the only way, then I will not be so interested to hear what someone else has to say or how they do it. You just heard part 1 of a 2-part conversation that Evan and I had together. So be sure to come back next Wednesday to hear the rest of the conversation. It's going to be so good. I'll look forward to seeing you then. Here we are. We've made it to the end. What'd you think about what you heard today? Is there something you heard that you need to take action on? I'm one of those people who loves to not just sit and hear something, but to sit and hear and then go ahead and start implementing, taking action on what I hear, what was stirred up in me. And I encourage you to do the same. If you enjoyed today's episode, or perhaps you heard an episode in the past that really stuck with you, would you go ahead and share that with some of your friends and your family? It would mean so much to me. And also, if you want to connect with me, remember, you can always find me throughout the week on Instagram. I'm Kareen_Change Radically. Or you can email me anytime, Kareen@changeradically.com. I'd love to be in touch. And if there's any way that I can help you, please seek me out. Until we speak again next week, I hope that you will remember in the moments that are loud and busy, and in the moments that are quiet and still, that who you are is super important. You are valuable, and I am so glad that you're alive.